Okay, let's dive deep. We've got some truly fascinating source material today, sent in by you, our listener.
Hmm.
It's excerpts from William Boericke's Homeopathic Materia Medica, and we're looking specifically at the entry for Asarum Europaeum, European snake root.
Right. And our mission here really is just to unpack the key characteristics, the symptoms associated with this substance, but exactly as Boericke lays them out in this specific text.
Yeah, see what this particular source says.
It's a unique window, really.
So, according to Boericke here,
Mm.
Asarum Europaeum is, well, it's mainly presented as a remedy tied to nervous conditions. Loss of energy is mentioned.
But interestingly, alongside this excessive erethism,
Erethism. So, what does that actually mean here, that word?
right, well, it points to this state of heightened irritability, a kind of nervous excitement or sensitivity that feels almost amplified, even though the text also mentions that underlying energy loss.
Huh. It's a bit of a paradox then.
It is, yeah, as described here.
And that heightened sensitivity you mentioned, it immediately makes me think of that, well, that incredibly specific symptom listed.
Oh, you mean the scratching on silk or linen or paper unbearable?
Exactly.
Oh.
I mean, unbearable discomfort just from scratching silk. That's, wow.
It really is specific, and it perfectly captures that theme of increased sensibility the text emphasizes. It even notes this sensitivity can be felt even from mere imagination.
Wow.
And tied into all this is a persistent feeling, almost fundamental, it seems, of always being cold.
Okay, so we're painting a picture here from the text. Profound sensitivity, maybe overwhelming, this nervous edge, and always feeling chilly.
That seems to be the core idea.
All right, so let's see how this shows up across the body, looking at the specific symptoms Boericke lists for each area.
Absolutely. Starting with the mind, the text mentions thoughts just vanishing and also a drawing kind of compressive pressure in the forehead.
And the head section carries that theme on, right? Compressive pain, a tense scalp, even the hair feeling painful. Again, that heightened sensitivity.
Definitely. And there's also core eyes listed.
Yeah.
You know, runny nose, sneezing.
Right, what about the eyes?
Described as feeling stiff, burning, and also cold. Interestingly, worse in sunlight and wind, but better from cold air or cold water.
Okay.
And the text specifically points out darting pains after operations and asthenopia, which is eye fatigue.
Got it. Ears.
They can feel plugged up.
Right.
There's mention of catarrhal deafness, heat just in the external ear, and noises.
Okay. The stomach section seems quite detailed in the source.
It is. Loss of appetite, flatulence, gas eructations, vomiting.
Oh.
But the specifics are key here. A noted desire for alcoholic drinks.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Smoking tastes bitter, nausea gets worse after eating, but the tongue looks clean despite that nausea. Also faintness, and this accumulation of cold, watery saliva. That cold saliva point is quite specific in Boericke.
It really paints a picture.
Yeah.
And the rectum symptoms seem equally distinct in the text.
Very. Describes strings of odorless yellow mucus, tough mucus and diarrhea, undigested stools. And prolapse is mentioned too. Those stringy stools, that's a standout detail from this source.
Definitely memorable. Female symptoms.
Text mentions menses being too early, lasting a long time, and black in color, often with violent lower back pain.
Yeah.
And a tenacious, sort of sticky yellow leukorrhea or discharge.
And respiratory.
Just a nervous, hacking cough noted, and short respiration.
Okay. And the
Paralytic type pain in the nape of the neck, and a weakness that can even lead to staggering.
wow. So what about fever? Is it a typical fever picture?
Not really. The description is more about marked chilliness, but very specific again. Single parts feel icy cold, not the whole body, just spots.
Icy cold spots.
Yeah, and easily triggered perspiration. It really reinforces that Corbinus theme, but in a peculiar way.
So bringing all these symptoms from the text together,
Yeah.
what makes them better or worse? The modalities.
Right, they're significant here. Symptoms are listed as worse in cold, dry weather, and from penetrating sounds, again, that sensitivity,
Makes sense.
and better from washing. And interestingly, in damp or wet weather.
Okay. So environmental factors seem key in this description.
Definitely seems that way. The text also lists some remedy relationships, you know, comparisons like ipecac, silica, and suggestidose, the 3rd to 6th potency. But again, it's crucial for you, the listener, to remember these are details from this specific source text.
Absolutely critical point. So as you're listening to all this, why is digging into these super specific details from this particular source actually valuable for you?
Well, because it gives you this direct view into a very particular historical way of observing and categorizing. It shows how symptoms, even ones that sound really odd to us now, like the silk scratching thing or icy cold spots,
Yeah.
how they were meticulously noted down and linked to substances within a framework like this homeopathic materia medica. It's just a fascinating look at a highly detailed method of observation.
It really is. So we've done a deep dive into Asarum Europaeum as presented in Boericke's text, seeing that thread of sensitivity, nerves, coldness woven through it all.
And maybe it leaves you with a thought to mull over. What does it signify when something so specific, like scratching on silk is unbearable, is considered a key indicator? How do these incredibly particular observations connect to bigger ideas about sensitivity or nervous states within that historical context? Something to think about.